about the second season of Life with Toya, which just premiered on OWN. It's good to have you here. You're very brave, especially in the second season, because you went in, you sought therapy. You were like, you know what, I'm going to get some help, which I applaud you for that. But then you said, yeah, let's bring the cameras in.
Yes.
Yeah, why did you do that?
I was filming the second season, and whatever I do in my life, the cameras are there, and they happen to come along with me. And it was one of those things where my mind kind of clicked and says, I don't know if I want to share this with them or not. But then I said to myself, you know what, if I have this problem, others may have the same problem, and I could probably help them. Who knows?
What do you mean, when you say problem, meaning what? That you just needed to face therapy?
The reason I went to therapy, well, my friend, it was Kathy Hilton, who said, you need to go get help. And I kind of knew that I did, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to face it. My problem was, in my previous marriage, I was very much abused. I was beaten and I was abused, and he felt as if he owned me, and he told me that. So because of that, it's been over 20-something years. I wanted nothing to do with men. And they couldn't touch my knee, couldn't touch my hand, anything at all. I just felt that they were all alike, and I felt that if I let them into my space, I felt that they would try to control me and do the same thing that he did to me. So I said, I want nothing to do with them. And she said, you got to get over that. And Jeffrey kept trying to encourage me to date, and Kathy kept saying, you need to get over and date, and I just didn't want any parts of it. Once I went to therapy, it just cleared everything up, and it was just wonderful that they're not all alike, and you can't judge one bad experience by everything else in your life, and that's what I was doing.
You had some experience, but are there things that you still need to work on, or because I know you've moved forward in your life in a very positive way, so, but are there still some things that you feel that you need to work on?
No, that was actually the only thing, the last thing that I needed to work on, the only last thing, because I had really gone through everything else. But that was just something that I just kind of just said, I don't want to deal with it. I just want to shut them out and not think about it. But when you do something of this nature, you're not really helping yourself. You're submersing it and covering up their true feelings. You got to open up. And now I feel so much freer. Like, they're okay.
Yeah.
You know, I would be nice, like to you, Mark, and say hi, but if you try to touch my knee or something, it's like, okay, I don't want him to touch me. It's one of those things. Yes.
But now, you mentioned your friend Kathy Hilton, who was very influential in helping you get help, but you also said Jeffrey. Now, who's Jeffrey?
Jeffrey, guys, I just got engaged, and he's my fiance.
Yes.
You've known Jeffrey a really long time. You started
Jeffrey
as
and
good
I,
friends.
yes, we've been best friends for over 15 years, and we're business partners. And then all of a sudden, it just turned.
What do you mean it just turned? What happened?
Jeffrey decided, I think it really happened when I started the first season. I dated a guy by the name of George. I went out on 2 dates, and it was 2 dates too many for me, because it was like, okay, this is a guy and the whole bed. Knowing Jeffrey and everything about him, he was always just a gentleman, and everything that he did was just a gentleman. The date I went on was probably nothing to you guys, but for me, it was a major step. Him saying, can I kiss you? Can I hold your hand? It's like, no, you just met me today. That's how I was, but I've overcome all that, of course. However, Jeffrey being my best friend, it made me look into things deeper. And when he proposed to me, which I had no idea he was going to do, I said yes. I started thinking, you know what? Everything was flashing through my head. This guy is so sweet. He doesn't really want to harm me. He knows me like more than anybody else, and he wants everything for me. He wants the best for me. And everything about Jeffrey I loved in a man.
But wait, did he knew you went out on dates with this other guy?
I went on 2 dates, yes, he did. And that's really, my mind started thinking and ticking, because Jeffrey called me every second. He texted me every second.
Are you okay? Are you doing okay?
Yes, did he touch you? Did you kiss him? Did you do this? I go, Jeffrey, you know me better than that. And he wanted to know everything. And I need to meet this guy to see if he's right for you.
Sure.
And Jeffrey had a meeting with him. He wanted to meet him and make sure that everything was going to be okay. And I love that about him. But he doesn't just do that with me. Jeffrey's that way with everybody.
Well, now, in the proposal, though, because he's
old-fashioned.
He is old-fashioned. How did he propose to you?
How did Jeffrey propose to me? Well, prior to doing it, he went to my father and he asked my father for my hand, if he could have my hand.
Wow,
We actually have a little clip that we want to share of that moment, Jeffrey.
Wow.
Pay attention.
I've fallen in love with your daughter.
That sounds like marriage talk to me.
Well, I want to ask you if you mind if I ask your daughter to marry me. But I want to get your blessings first
You
because
got mine already. You'll get it again when she comes.
that means a lot.
I've been knowing for the last 15 or 20 years. He loved Latoya. It seemed funny to me that he hasn't asked her before. You gonna ask in front of me?
No.
I want to hear you ask that in front of me.
I want it to be a surprise. I'm gonna take her to Hawaii and propose to her.
No, we're gonna mention about
No, we can't. It's gotta be a surprise.
what?
I've told nobody in your family yet.
What?
Even Mrs. Jackson doesn't know. I've told
Oh,
no
I'm
one.
gonna say, why don't you and Latoya get married? That's all I'm gonna say.
You can't tell her about this, Joseph.
Come on. It might be pretty hard for me to keep this secret.
And
Wow. And
did he keep it a secret?
You know what, guys? What's so funny? He actually did, but he was trying to tell me, and I had no clue. And he's sitting there at the table, which is coming up Saturday at 10 o'clock noon, that he's trying to tell me that Jeffrey's going to ask me. And he goes, you need to go to Hawaii. And I go, but Joseph, I can't go to Hawaii because I have to go to New York and do this play. He goes, you need to go to Hawaii. It's going to be a big surprise. Jeffrey has a big surprise for you. And he kept throwing that out there, and I never got it. I thought it was going to be a surprise birthday party or something.
Oh, you were expecting a party.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
a party.
And that's where the proposal was
Yeah,
waiting.
that's
in
where it was
Hawaii.
waiting.
So,
in
but
Hawaii.
how did he do it?
Oh, he did a wonderful job. We
What?
stayed at the Trump Hotel, and it was overlooking the water and the buildings of the city glistening. And we got there, and Jeffrey said to me, he says, I need for you to go downstairs and just have some you time. I need for you to go get a spa, whatever you want to do, just do it. And I said, no, Jeffrey, I don't want to do that. He goes, no, I need for you to do that. At the end of the day, I said, okay, I'll go. And he says, well, make sure you stay 2 hours or so. I was there, and I came back upstairs, and I knock on the door, and when Jeffrey opens the door, just rose petals are just all the way down, white ones and gardenias, and just a trail leading through the kitchen, through the dining room, through the living room, right out to the lanai. And on the lanai was just a big, beautiful white dress table with gardenias and rose petals and Tivoli lights and champagne and a course meal. I think it was a 6-course meal. And he had the butler, the chef, he had the waiter, and someone else was there. And they were all saying, we're here to serve you, to give you whatever you want. I go, what is this? And he goes, we're having a dinner. You're very special to me, and I want to give you a special dinner. I said, but Jeffrey, this looks like a wedding. I always have dinner. And with him all the time. But this one was very special, and it was just so beautiful with the candles and everything. And they started serving the dinner, and I noticed Jeffrey said, something wrong? You're tearing up. You keep tearing up. His eyes kept watering. And he goes, oh, no, it was from when we were on the yacht earlier today, and I jumped in, and my eyes are sensitive to it. So eventually, when we got to the dessert, he got down, he walked around, he got on his knee, and I said, and my eyes were like, oh, no. And my eyes.
Is that a good oh no or a like oh no?
It was a oh no, I didn't know what to think because it was a surprise. I go, oh no, this means that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he asked for my hand, but all I could hear was just, he was so nervous, the table was shaking.
Yeah.
I was just so nervous. And I said, oh, Jeffrey, but we're best friends and we're business partners and we're not supposed to. And then my mind was flashing everything about him that I loved and liked. And I said, yes, I will.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I said yes.
Nice job, Jeffrey.
Good job, good job.
But the funniest part of it all is when I said yes to him, Jeffrey says to me, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Because he said he didn't want it to ruin our friendship. We have such a great friendship. He says, if this is going to ruin our friendship, you don't have to say yes. But that was so sweet of him.
Well, what
That's
a great,
lovely
what a
story.
sweet,
Nice
sweet story.
Jeffrey.
We're going to step away. For more, by the way, on LaToya, visit our Twitter page at Home and Family TV. Life with LaToya airs on OWN Saturdays at 10.